Even if it was going to be serving tea or coffee for two to the military, we just wanted to be hands-on, doing something. Yeah. But then obviously fast forward, with that, we came across the Magna Carta. And as soon as I spotted David Robinson's work, it was like, wow, this feels like a gift from God. Mm-hmm. And we were all in.
Hi guys, you're with Indigo. It's July 2023 and today I'm with the Magna Carta Sisters and we're going to learn about the Magna Carta and why it's important that you learn about it too. Alright guys, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for letting me in your house. Could I please...
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's always the most amazing thing being with you. I'm learning so much. Could you both introduce yourself please?
Yeah, I'm Mandy.
And I'm Angie.
And you're known as the...
Magna Carta Sisters.
It was actually Tom Numbers that coined the phrase, okay? It's not something we chose.
Yeah. And Tom Numbers is an amazing person.
He is fantastic, yeah. And hopefully we can get together with him on one of these. Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking obviously a bit about the Magna Carta. I'll get you to maybe hold that just to show them.
Mm-hmm. This is the 800th anniversary copy of the book.
Which was kindly given to us.
It was.
Could you maybe just read that? It says actually I can read it. So it says the Great Charter of the Liberties of England, royal assent given at Runnymede by King John. And Runnymede is where we met.
Yeah. It was in 2021.
Yeah.
9/11, very significant day.
Yeah, so we met and that's when we found the lost stone at Runnymede, which was interesting.
Yeah.
But this has been an incredible journey, to be honest. It started for us in 2020. Obviously, we heard about the children and...
Yeah, we started watching videos and then we heard about the kids and like thousands out there, I'm sure. I mean, we were on the floor for a fortnight, crying, oh my God, how can we live in a world like this? It's only going to be a matter of time that'll come for our own kids and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, when you're on the floor, there's only one way to go and that's up.
And that's up.
Yep.
So we said, right, what can we do? I mean, we wanted to go down the dumbs, basically, and rescue kids. Mm-hmm. And I actually contacted Gene Decode because we'd been watching loads of his stuff. And we said, what can we do? And he said, it was like, well, you can't go down the dumbs sort of thing. There's certain things going on.
Even if it was going to be serving tea or coffee for two to the military, we just wanted to be hands-on, doing something. Yeah. But then obviously fast forward, with that, we came across the Magna Carta. And as soon as I spotted David Robinson's work, it was like, wow, this feels like a gift from God. Mm-hmm. And we were all in.
Okay, so... could you maybe tell me a bit about David Robinson? Because that's where it said, your journey started learning about the Magna Carta.
It was. So we came across his work. Obviously, it was all focused on Article 61, which is actually the treason clause within the 63 clauses of the Magna Carta. And it's when treason's been committed. So when treason is actually called, it's not just against one person. It's to a whole nation. Okay, So when we looked into his work, we realised he'd done like almost 20 years worth of research on the Magna Carta, which Article 61, the treason clause, like I explained, was invoked on the 23rd of March 2001. So never even, seen anything like it before. Started delving into his work. He'd made these notices for his group to follow, and we sort of adopted that work.
Yeah, he trained with Elizabeth Becket.
Whose father was a high Supreme Court judge.
Wow.
So that was his mentor. So he put together all these notices, which we was looking at, we was reading his work, and I just thought it was incredible. And to be honest, things for us has to resonate spiritually first.
Yeah.
And it was sort of that sort of moment when this is it.
Yeah.
We can't help with the kids, but we can
do
doing
this.
Article 61. And of course, when we found out it was invoked on the 23rd of March 2001, and it was in the newspaper the following day on the 24th, in an article written by Caroline Davis in the Daily Telegraph. We was fortunate enough that somebody had photocopied the original Daily Telegraph newspaper clipping. So fast forward a little bit from that, because that was 2020. 2021, I opened up the Magna Carta. Telegram Magna Carta Article 61.
Yeah.
1215 Article 61. And we've just gone from strength to strength, to be honest. And we've just been encouraging people to stand up, because if you read the newspaper clipping, it tells you, you've got to distrain and distress the crown as much as you possibly can. And we're lucky to have this. It's part of our constitution. Yeah. And to me, it just rang truth, where I seen God all over it. And I
that's
thought,
the thing,
wow.
It's God's law. It's God's law.
And Tom confirmed that when he said the Magna Carta actually means the law book.
Wow.
So
so in March, when you said it was a vote in 2001, does that mean, that must mean that it still has power then, right?
Well, yeah, because
it was used.
Basically on that day, because what had happened is under the Magna Carta Article 61 of the 63 clauses, being the treason clause, it was 2002, 2001, or was it probably about in 2000, Tony Blair had actually signed something called, the Treaty of Nice. Well, that was treason right there. That was enough for 25 barons. It was actually 68, I think, that formed a committee of 25. And out of the 25, they have to choose 4 of the peers to then petition the Queen to obviously ask her about, why our sovereignty is being given away. So the 4 peers wrote to the Queen and gave the Queen, 40 days to respond to the petition. Now, her private secretary, Sir Robin Janvin, replied on the 39th day, and she'd come back, and it was words like giving really government and royal assent. And really, that's not how it works underneath the Constitution, because under a coronation oath of 1953, oath of allegiance is to protect the sovereign people, which is us. She's the sovereign, we're the sovereign people underneath the Constitution. So obviously the answer that came back was unsatisfactory enough to invoke the article, which the very next day it went into the Daily Telegraph, as explained.
But they had to assume that she'd been usurped. See, so okay, so then.
But basically, on that day, what it meant under Article 61 is the Queen got deposed, and all governments around the UK, Commonwealth and former Commonwealth countries was dissolved. So basically, we was like, wow.
That's mind-blowing information.
We were just blown away.
We was blown away by it, and obviously it's resonating with the truth. So we adopted this, opened up the group in 2021 of February or March, and we've just been going from strength to strength, obviously opposing governments, wanting them to answer questions as to why, 61, and telling them about it, and we'll conditionally accept, but please, write back in substance. So, I mean, to date, this is how the law, and everyone knows this in the movement, anything unrebutted by law stands of truth in law.
Wow.
And the Magna Carta has been unrebutted to date.
For 800 years.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
808. We just celebrated the
808,
808th
didn't we?
at Running
We just
Mate
did
Mead
June
on the 15th.
We did.
But yeah, it's been a fantastic journey, to be honest. And we've got a fabulous group, and there's some awesome members. I mean, I started up the group, and thank you to Andrew Massey, who actually did a lot of the tech work and the folders and helped me. He's been absolutely brilliant and like getting all that information together. We have had a lot of infiltration on the group, but that just tells me one thing: we're over the targets.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. But
but we crack on,
But infiltration would only happen if there's something serious to try and stop, right?
Exactly.
But anyway, we've cracked on. We've had some losses, but we've had a lot of wins as well, and not one of them have come back. But the way I see the Magna Carta, it's not even forget there was an Article 61.
Yeah.
Basically, Clause 39 and 40 get violated every single minute of the day, especially with the magistrates' courts, because no man should be stripped of his possessions, outcast in any way, except by a jury of his peers or the law of the land.
Yeah.
And then 40, you can't deny, delay, or sell justice. But we're seeing tyranny every single day with the magistrates. They open up their own courtrooms
and the higher spaces,
and they're totally ignoring Article 61. We tell them in the rebuttal letters that they're actually standing in sedition at the very least. Now, sedition is a full asset stripping and life imprisonment, but not one of these councils or governments have answered us and give us the answer that David Robinson set up, and we're following on from him, that give us the evidence in substance that it's been revoked, and they can't.
The thing is, I think the biggest problem, and I'm sure a lot of people in the truth movement, and especially people that are doing law stuff, we are dealing with people that have never been challenged before, and they still think it's business as usual. Well, it's not. And they're still carrying out certain things because they think, it's business as usual, and they've never been challenged before. So I don't think they know how to respond. They can't.
Yeah.
In a way, because they're between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. So, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, really.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, they work in their maritime law and they think, as I said, business as usual. So this is the frustrating part of being in any groups that are opposing with notices and that. But we just got to keep going. And I say that to all the other groups.
Yeah.
As long as you're opposing, just keep doing it. Because it's coming.
It is. And at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. But the most fantastic thing is happening now across, the spectrum of people standing up.
Yeah.
It's all groups coming together. We just applaud anyone who is standing up.
Yeah.
Because if you're not standing up, you're actually making tacit agreement, which is silent consent. We've explained that one before.
Yeah.
But we're very passionate about what we do. And obviously, if you go to our group, the Magna Carta 1215, Article 61, what we urge people to do is just read and read again. And, you've got to believe in it. So basically, it starts with taking the oath of allegiance. All right?
Okay.
So we move to oath to self because we believe that it is oath to self now. We're all here. We, the people, are here to stand up. We've all had enough across the board. We've all had enough, and it's time now for people. But the great thing about the Magna Carta notices, it's already done for everyone. So all they've got to do is take the oath and follow the 5 notice process, which is it looks daunting at first, but once you get into it, we promise you people this. You feel very empowered, and it helps people to give the confidence to stand up. And more and more is being exposed every day, and we support that, and we will support the people. And it's been the last 2.5 years, or we're in year 3 now, and we put a lot of time into the group and a lot of time into our members to make sure, because for us all it's about is we'll teach you how to do it, And then you've got to learn it so you can teach others,
Yeah.
and it's just pass that message
Train
on.
the trainer.
Train the
It
trainer.
has to be that way.
Yeah.
It has to be that way. So and it has been that way. It's good.
Can I ask, guys, for someone that's brand new to this, when you say take the oath, it sounds quite scary, daunting. The first thing I think of is people of different religions. What could you explain what that means, taking the oath?
Well, it's kind of really, for example, if you've woke up and you've seen what's going on in the world, the reality of it, the kids, I mean, number one, it's why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the kids,
Yeah,
First and
basically.
foremost.
First and
Yeah.
foremost, exactly.
The children trafficking
So
situation.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like a pledge, right? I pledge that I'm not going to stop until this, these heinous crimes stop.
Mm-hmm.
We will keep going
Mm-hmm.
until this stops, until this comes down. So it's like an oath to yourself that, do you know what I mean?
And we've got the excuse to do it
Yes.
under, a lawful excuse to do it.
So this is a lawful oath, is it? It's not
It's
just
a
like
lawful.
a personal
It's a
thing.
lawful oath,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, we encourage people to do that. I mean, the reason why they take the oath is to self, because we want justice
Yeah.
in this world. That's what it's all about, and we've woke up to the fact that there is no justice. The system is absolutely corrupt.
We are living in a lawless society. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So we take the oath to ourselves, like pledging something, but it's actually required for notice number 1 and notice number 4 within the process. I mean, everything's just set out, in the group, and it's done, and people get supported.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this group's doing lots of other things, but it's what resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's like everything that we do has to resonate. I just seen the truth in the Magna Carta, and everyone is denying it. Yet they have to adhere to 3940. In fact, they have to adhere to 3940 and clause 13.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is an out of date charter,
Yeah.
the Great Charter, then why is it they have to still imply 3940 and 13? So that told me right there and then, there's something
There's
in
something
this.
in this, yeah. There's a lot of power there.
And this, David Robinson, why would a man spend 20 years, almost 2 decades of research and believed it? Unfortunately, David did die early in the movement. First of all, we heard it was the end of 2020, and then somebody recently told us that it was 21. So I'm a bit confused about the dates there, but all I know is the man's
A genius.
is a genius for me.
Yeah.
The way that Notice 1 and 2 has been wrote, it does put them in a rock and a hard place, like Angie explained, but it's just, I see truth in it.
Yeah.
And we've certainly seen results in it.
Yeah.
So we found something that everyone can do. Everyone can do this.
Could you give me an example of when the Magna Carta could help someone in an ordinary situation? Are we talking like fathers in trying to get their children back maybe, or not paying the bills? I'm trying to understand where this is used.
Okay, so I do have to urge people. We're not here to say to you, stop paying your bills, because you've really got to know what you're doing. And we say, do the notices for no demands first. So you get into a rhythm. So by doing the cops, courts and councils on the notices for no demand, so what that means is you're not demanding anything from them, they're not demanding anything from you, you're just simply saying, I'm standing under Article 61, you've given them in notice number 1 actually 20 years worth of years of research, all written in the notice,
exhibits.
giving them exhibits, links and everything that they can follow, and basically you just want them to just write back to you and prove to you, please show me the evidence in substance, because we're giving you a notice that's been made in substance of the evidence. So please write back to us and tell us if we're wrong. And then obviously we go on. Of course, nobody has to date, but by doing the cops, courts and councils, you see, it's not the government doing this to us. It's the councils that's doing it. And this is why David Robinson stressed about going. But by doing the notice process on the notices for no demands, you're actually doing your lawful standing. You're warning them in advance that you're standing under Article 61, and then that's your groundwork done with your, like, taking your sovereignty back.
Wow.
Now, obviously, there is on the right-hand side of our flow chart is the notices for demands. So if anyone is, demanding money from you. But again, we urge people to do the reading and build up the confidence and to know exactly what they're doing. And then if people then choose, because you can't tell anyone what to do, it has to be an individual choice. And standing in your sovereignty means standing up. So you have
really
to, people out there have to decide for themselves. Right.
Are you ready for this?
Which way? Yeah, you're ready. Which way are you going?
Where are we going to go with this? And then, then they get the confidence, and then they can start challenging. Because obviously, we're now in year 4.
Yeah.
And what, Indigo, there's no excuse now. I know there's people just still waking up, and it's maybe all new to them, and that's great. But there's a lot of people out there that know everything that's going on now. We've all seen too much. So are you going to stand up, or are you not? And I say to people out there with integrity, either stand up or stand down. Yeah. So we're passionate about what we do because of the children, and not just that. We want to see people brought to justice.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we want, and we as a group, we've got some absolutely fantastic members. They've done so much work. I'm so proud of all of them out there that's took part in this. And of course, we've been the only group from day one, along with other practical lawful dissent groups, because that was David's group name.
It was his original,
It was his original name, who have actually been serving notices way before, like I think some 2017.
Long before the pandemic.
Long before, long before that. So when we come across David's work and we've seen his videos and everything, he was doing the police stations, putting them on notice. So much
Bless him, what a warrior.
And he actually done the one in Birmingham. And then all sorts of campaigns was going on. Lobby the Bobby campaign. We was all going around to certain police stations, since 2020, and asking them to investigate.
But they've done nothing again. Nothing. And okay, to be fair, a couple of places we went to, when the camera was down, then they were kind of like on our side, but their hands were tied.
Yeah.
Because they're not far enough of the ranks, So, but we know there's corruption within the police. I know, I've just had a recent experience, and if I hadn't have experienced it myself, I probably wouldn't have believed it. But that's for another day. We'll do that another day. But it's a disgrace.
Yeah.
But the worst thing is to find out that child services, for example, your local councils.
Again,
it's all your councils. People.
It's all your councils, people out there. It's all your councils. Child support services, traffic tickets, face recognition. We want to urge people to go to the group.
Yeah.
Really, to start reading.
Yeah.
And start thinking and.
Start thinking for themselves, right? And taking the initiative to research this, and it's something you said earlier. It's really important that they understand what this is, so that they understand the power themselves, because this is the very first step, I believe, in taking back our sovereignty. A lot of people scream about I'm sovereign, but actually there's actual practical and lawful ways of taking back your sovereignty and putting them in like a sticky corner, right?
but they're not actually doing anything about it. And like I said earlier, if you're not doing nothing about it, you're just making tacit agreements. So it's like, you don't say anything. So for instance, they would put, if they brought out a policy then, or, a new statute, act or legislation, they would put that in a newspaper and put it out in the public. But because you or I probably wouldn't read the Gazette, well,
it's job done in their eyes.
It's too bad.
It's out there.
It's too bad because their motto, what they use on us, is ignorance is no excuse of the law.
Well, it works the other way.
So we've got to stand up. We really have. But we just want to urge people to go to the group and start reading, because things can't be handed on a platter to you either.
Yeah.
Because this is why we're in a mess right now. This is why this country, where's the world, is in a mess, because we didn't stand up.
Well, because, to be fair, we were indoctrinated into believing that this was the way it was. But deep down in our souls, we knew. We knew as kids something was wrong with this life.
Absolutely.
Questioning things as kids even.
Yep.
And then what happens then? You get thrown into the 3D, if you like.
Yeah.
And then marriage and kids and business and everything else, and you get caught up in that. Obviously, all by design.
Yeah.
To keep you busy, keep you busy in your life while they carry on with their stuff, what they're doing to us.
So it was just fantastic, just finding David's work and reading it, and
it was amazing.
Wow. You start reading and think, Article 61.
Yeah, what the hell is
And
that?
obviously there's plenty of evidence out there. And anything, again, I keep saying it, and we'll say anything unrebutted by law stands of truth in law. And all the groups know that. Whatever you do, whether it's common law or, the maxims or equity or whatever, it all stands the same, unrebutted,
And the funny thing was, I was out in Canada in 2018. Yeah, 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I've got some friends out there. And long story short, he gave me, like an affidavit.
Yeah.
And actually, Magna Carta was a part of this affidavit.
Wow, 2013.
Sorry, no, 18.
18.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I didn't take too much interest in it. I was interested in it, obviously it was to do with the First Nations people. So I was definitely interested. But I didn't sort of, didn't realise. And then when we started getting onto the Magna Carta and reading through it, and I says to Mandy, oh my God, I said, do you remember that paper that I brought back?
Yeah.
And of course I found it out, and it was just incredible. So we knew there was something in it.
So they'd actually used Magna Carta within the court case to win some land back for the First Nations people of Canada.
Wow.
So we found that, didn't connect the dots then. And then Angie remembered, the paperwork and everything, which was just like, wow, another one of those wow moments.
Yeah.
So
they do use it. Apparently they use it in High Supreme Court anyway, magistrates' courts. They're just administrative offices.
The banks,
Basically.
Yeah. So it's a private bar members associated meeting.
It is a private bar meeting.
Yeah.
So, and people, once they wake up to that, obviously you've got to do it peacefully.
Yes, of course.
When we first heard of it, to be honest with you, we thought we developed Tourette's with our bad language, because it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable what these people do. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, actually.
But everyone has basically woke up in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking for solutions, just come to the Magna Carta group, read all you can. There's so much information in there. It's all free because obviously under clause 40, you can't deny, delay or sell justice.
Yeah.
So everything we do is absolutely free across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, the saying is, well, if it's free, people don't value it. Well,
Whatever.
yeah, it's as simple as because we're at war. You've been given a prop. We've got help for nothing, and our time. Our time is free as well,
Yeah.
and all the information is in there, and you can learn how to do it step by step, and it puts you on the map, and it puts you on the road.
It puts you on the battlefield.
The battlefield.
It does.
The battlefield. So we're just saying to people, stand up in your sovereignty, just read, come to the group. Indigo will put the link up at the end,
Yeah.
and then start reading. Because
What's
the thing is, you're talking to people, but they've got to read it for themselves. They have to resonate it with it themselves.
Would you say that Straw Man Nature of the Cage is a good video for people to watch?
Absolutely.
Definitely. I think that's stage number one
It's
for
the
anyone
starting point.
across the board,
Yeah.
to be honest, because it gives you... I mean, there is a lot more people awake now, and people are waking up every day. I mean, I do think there's like a quickening now. And we are, obviously, we have to repeat ourselves in the group.
And that's
So,
fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely
That's
absolutely
fine.
fine.
You've
But
got
we
to have
are,
a lot of patience when you are teaching people, because it was the same when we started.
Yeah, of
We
course.
didn't know it. We looked at this and we thought, oh my God, and it just seemed daunting. And how can we ever do this? But it is just reading up on it, looking
And being open-minded,
reading
right?
And
absolutely.
yeah,
First and
absolutely.
foremost, I think.
yeah.
And, we could sit here and tell you the story of this, that and the other, but it doesn't work if you don't read and read the notices, read everything. But you are fully supported in the Magna Carta group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fully supported. And what we're going to do is make a series of videos to try and make it easier for the members.
Yeah.
But I just want to say a big shout out to the Magna Carta members. You're absolutely awesome, and we love you. You've all done so well.
They're just amazing.
We've met some fantastic people, and that's real, true warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I say, the links will be put in the bottom of this video. We didn't want to make a long video, to be honest, just an introduction, because it is all about reading and doing the research yourself. It really is. It has to, you have to feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
The thing is, with this, all the research has actually been done.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything's been done. So it's just learning the notices, just reading through and reading through again. If there are words that you don't understand, I mean, it is pretty straightforward, but if there are words in there that you don't understand, look them up. Yeah. Write them down.
Or ask in the group. Yeah.
It's like when we were doing our research, when we first started in 2020, there were things that we'd never come across that sort of word before. So you look it up. Yeah. And we actually had good training by Dad, didn't we?
We did. We did.
We had good training there. So we'd look it up, and that's what I urge people to do. Don't be afraid. Also, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes, that's important.
Even if you ask us 10 times, do you know what? It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Because we don't want you to feel... I remember being in school, and I was one of them. I didn't want to... I sat at the back of the school, at the back of the class, and I didn't want to engage fear of being made a fool of. So a lot of people feel
it's very
like
common,
that.
isn't it? Yeah,
It's very common.
Especially with this, it's new language, everything's different.
It is. Yeah. So, this is what I'm saying to all of you out there. Don't be afraid. And we don't care if you ask us 10, 20 times. You know, unless it's bloody ridiculous, then, you know, then that's another story. But no, the point I'm trying to make is, don't feel embarrassed to ask.
Yeah.
Don't feel embarrassed to ask again and again,
Mm-hmm.
because we know the difference now. We've come a long way with this, and
But the truth
you
is,
know.
what we've woke up to, everything we've ever thought was the truth in our life is a lie
It's a
anyway.
lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all learning from ground zero.
that's right.
Well, we're
So-
rebuilding this earth together, right?
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
So all that crap you learned in school anyway, you know,
Unlearn
it don't
it.
matter.
Yeah, unlearn it. But anyway, we get the support. Guys, it's all about standing up.
Yeah.
You know, feel the passion in your heart, because it's certainly in mine, and I know it's in my sister's,
Yeah.
for freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask, sisters, when we're doing it now, you know, disclosure's coming, we're building this new earth, we're starting to stand in our sovereignty, we're realizing truly that we have been slaves because of our birth certificate. They've held money from us from the moment we was born, and this is why we're standing in our power. But how do you see the world being? Do you see like new communities forming? Do you see a lot more love returning, unity? Maybe you could share some thoughts on that to end this.
Well, we've you know, obviously we've done lots of research. We've watched videos. You know, we might have watched, say, a 3-hour video, and it's lasted us the whole day, because we'll stop and we'll research, and then we'll stop and have a discussion about it. This is what was going on in 2020 and 2021. We actually do believe we are going into this new age.
I think it's going to be
New Earth.
absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, you know, the wicked are being taken out.
Yeah.
And
Transformed.
the corrupt need to get on board now and just repent.
Yes,
yeah,
they
yeah.
do. They
And
need to
don't,
redeem
you know,
themselves.
I'm not going down the religion route. Let's get that straight here.
Yeah. No.
Because we're not religious, but first and foremost, we
Spiritual.
are spiritual, because that, you know, the divine,
Mm-hmm.
the universe, the creator, it's what dwells within. It's the love that's inside of you.
Yes. Yes.
It's the love that's inside of you.
And we come together unified,
Yeah.
because this is where we're heading to now.
Yeah.
Is all going together as one big unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we stand up, but stand together while we're doing it, and see it, feel it, manifest it,
Wow.
you know, you start to see a better picture.
You start to act like it's already here.
Yeah. You do.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be beautiful.
So we've just got to get through this last sort of stage. We know it's rocky, but what I do urge you to do, be in the eye of the storm. So all this crap's going to be going on around us.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
distraction.
He's a shield, she's a seal, this movie's that or
Yeah,
that.
I
And
can't.
Be in the eye of the
Yeah.
storm.
know your own
It's
truth.
all going
Yeah.
on around you, but if you're in the centre, let it. It's like, if you can imagine being in like a hurricane,
Yeah.
and you're
Or
in the
tornado,
middle.
right?
So
Something
it's
like
not
that.
touching you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's whizzing around you.
Mhm.
It's not touching you, because what you're doing in that eye, you're just continuing doing your paperwork or your research. Just, you know, block that out. Yes, of course, it does affect us when there's rising costs and, you know, food's going up and the bills. Well,
Yeah.
once you get into this, then you'll gain more and more confidence to say, do you know what?
To who you really are. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm not paying that. They're a damn corporation.
Yeah.
I might as well go down to, I don't want to use bloody McDonald's, but anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
Go
you might
somewhere
as well
else.
go down to the local shop and go, there you go, I'll pay you my council tax today.
But I want to say
But-
this to
But, yes.
all new people that's joining
Yeah.
the group. We're quite strict on the group. The group is only about Article 61 because talking about all these distractions, that's exactly what they've been doing to us
Yeah,
for
yeah.
years. So we just say, right, it's all about Article 61.
Stay on
Let's
topic.
get the numbers. Let's stay on topic. And let's go
get on
for
with
them
it.
and
Yeah.
just get on with it. We've got to do it en masse.
Yeah.
We do it en masse because I can say this to you today. There's a lot of CEOs stepping down.
Yeah.
We can't say it's because of Article 61, but I'm telling you now, there's like, in our city council, we're on CEO number 3.
Yeah.
So
They have to keep moving them around, don't they?
you can imagine doing this en masse.
Yeah.
You know, even like 2,000 people in one area, just doing it en masse.
Yeah.
And something else is happening as well behind the scenes where all groups are coming together. And we have got the mass now, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all positive, but keep on doing what you're doing as long as you're opposing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do not make that tacit agreement.
We just hold anybody, regardless of what notices you're using anyway, if you're doing it, we absolutely
Support
applaud you and support you 100%, because you know we really have got to stand together now and wake these people up. If they, you know, these people again, we're up against like what we call the gatekeepers or the minions. You know, in these companies, they're working. You know, how does David Strait, he coins the phrase, the compartmentalized idiots, because I don't want to really say idiot, because again we've all been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
But that, you know, they believe like, you know, oh, you've got to pay your car tax, you know, the DBLA, the people at the DBLA, they really believe it, but we believed it.
Yeah.
So
Compassion.
just keep opposing them with that compassion. You'll get some cocky ones then.
Of course.
But the great thing is, and this is what we say in the Magna Carta group, go and collect the evidence. So not only do your lawful standing, you're telling them and warning them in advance, and you are then collecting the evidence. And the more people that go out and send notices, them like, what?
Yeah.
And they're faltering.
Did you just say what?
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 So they're actually making mistakes now.
Yeah.
But don't forget this. We are collecting the evidence, guys.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
And I think we'll end it on
For
that.
their trials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, because I hope you other lot are listening to this as well.
This is for everyone.
Yeah.
But anyway, we send you all the love today.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us. And thank you, Indigo.
Thank you, sisters.
Thank you.
Amazing.
God bless. So we're going to get Indigo to actually read the oath, yeah? So there you go.
Thank you.
And then he'll explain that.
Thank you.
God bless.
So, this is the oath, Article 61. You can find this actually on our Telegram group. You're always going to want to, if it's for yourself, download 2 of them, because it's called the 2 originals. You're going to send one to yourself, and you're going to have one outside of the envelope that you'll always use to scan when you're sending notices. You can hear them talking about standing in your power, sending notices, and this is the start. So I'm just going to read it. You're going to put your name, your address, you're going to date it. You also have to have 3 witnesses sign this. They've got to be over 21, can't have a criminal record, and be for the last 10 years, and it can't be related to you. And you're also going to sign it in either red or purple. Red representing the blood within me, a living man, or purple representing royalty, true royalty, sovereignty. So I'm just going to read it. So it'll say, I, Aaron Lindsay Indigo, in full knowledge of treason being committed in Parliament, by delivering the sovereign peoples of this common law land into the hands of foreign powers, in understanding of some wrongs done by the present holder of the office of sovereign, from whom I now transfer my allegiance according to the law of this land, I do willingly and wholeheartedly enter into lawful dissent, and I solemnly swear upon my oath to obey the direction of the Lords of the Barons Committee, whom invoked Article 61 of the 1215 Magna Carta on the 23rd of March 2001, in accordance with the royal command to do so, as long as said barons act strictly according to constitutional law at all times without deviation, until such times as redress of this present wrongs have been achieved. Yeah. Angie, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, because what I want to come in on, actually, that bit about, because you see, people will read that and they go, oh,
Barons.
Baron, exactly,
It happens every day.
So I want you to go over as long as said barons.
Okay.
So go over that again, because what we're saying, guys, is, yeah, we'll stand with the barons, but if they falter,
Yeah.
then, you know.
For me,
Yeah.
the people take it from here.
There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah, I nearly swore then, but anyway.
But I will read what you just said because
But
it's
no, because that is really important.
it's in bold, you know.
Because people do tend to read that and go, oh, I'm not standing under any baron.
I don't know
or,
who they are. Yeah.
So yeah, it's you'll stand with them as long as they're standing with you.
And it's about knowing your history and why the barons were evoked 808 years ago. Right?
Actually, yeah. In fact, I would urge everybody to watch. What's it called? It's on.
Russell Crowe.
No. First of all, Ironclad.
Ironclad's good.
Ironclad
Okay, I've not heard
is a great film, and it's on. You can find it on YouTube. You might have to rent it or something. It's only a couple of quid, but Ironclad is, what happened when Article 61 was invoked, and what the.
There's a movie. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
brilliant.
The Baron's
We're
Last
watching
Stand.
that. We're watching that
It
tomorrow.
was the Baron's Last Stand, and it's a brilliant film.
Okay.
And
And Amanda, you was going to say, is it
Yeah.
Robin Hood you've mentioned before?
Yeah, I think to get, because people take the word baron out of text because it actually means us.
context.
Okay. So the
That's-
barons represent the people, right?
Yes.
They're just the elected.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you watch the film Robin Hood, it was actually Robin Hood 2010, Russell Crowe. That'll give you an idea how the barons lived with their communities, and I think that's what we need to achieve today. It shows unity within the film, but obviously I urge people to watch that. It's very, very
That's a
good,
great
to be
film,
honest.
But Ironclad is, if they watch that first, and then that gives you an introduction as to actually what we're talking about and
Okay, incredible.
what we're trying to achieve. Yeah, it's brilliant.
So just again, I'll read it as Angie suggested. As long as said barons act strictly according to constitutional law at all times without deviation. So, yeah, we've also created a video explaining step by step how to fill this out correctly, because you want to make sure you're not doing it in your all caps names, which represents your dead corporation. And you can find that on Instagram. The Magna Carta Sisters is the Instagram, or the Telegram group. I love you all. We're here for a reason. We incarnated to change this world. So remember who you are. Step into your power. Claim your sovereignty. Have some dignity for your life, and bring dignity back to your bloodline, because you're the ones who are going to do this.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
If you've got kids,
Yeah.
they go on their oath too.
So any children under 18, right? You can look after
21.
them. At 21.
Under
Okay.
21,
Yeah.
put your kids on there. See, I believe 21's the age anyway, but then I'm old school.
Well, we show you in that video how to put
It is 21.
your offspring on
Yes,
here. Yeah.
exactly. That's coined the term. The
Offspring. Yeah, and that's another thing. Language is so full of spells. You'd be blown away by how much we entrap ourselves.
But what I love about David Robinson is, you see, this is the problem with all this knowledge that people have had now. Or don't do this, don't say that, don't say the other. All that people need to realise, it's written in plain English, no legalese,
baby.
So, even if you make any mistakes and you
It's in
don't
plain
know
English.
syntax, grammar and all this,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Because that's what it says on the notices.
Wow.
And even if you're doing, covering notices to go with them, always write that on your own.
This is in
paperwork.
plain English, no legalese. Love you.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be really useful for me to just read a little bit of this PDF that we have in the Magna Carta Telegram group. Really important information in here, but I'm going to read just one of the pages, and I hope you don't mind if I just read from this page. Take about 5 minutes of your time. And really try and listen and keep your heart open to this information. This is one of the reasons that we're really standing in our power, and we're starting to understand the power of Magna Carta, Article 61, and common law, and all of these different things. Learning about our straw man, learning about how the system basically entrapped us with our birth certificate.
But anyway, let me not go too far. Article 61 of the Magna Carta 1215 is the highest constitutional law ever written. It is the security clause of our forever binding constitution. In 2001, Article 61 of the Magna Carta 1215 was evoked for the 5th time in history. The first time was when King John unsuccessfully attempted to allow Pope Innocent III to annul Magna Carta in 1216, whereas he was brought under the rule of law of the Magna Carta 1215 by the federal barons, his peers, whom refused to allow such treachery and would not allow payment of tributes to the Pope, nor did they allow Pope's choice of Archbishop of Canterbury to head the English Church. The second time was in 1258 and the third time in 1500. The fourth time was during the Glorious Revolution in 1988 and 9. The Glorious Revolution was glorious only for the unsurpassed dark forces behind the treacherous actions of our so-called representatives. The fifth time that Article 61 was evoked was in 2001, when Tony Blair signed the Treaty of Nice, which was an act of high treason. To this day, Article 61 of the Magna Carta 1215 is still in effect. 25 barons petitioned the usurper's crown of the 7th of February 2001, granting her 40 days to respond to the petition of the treasonous Treaty of Nice by Tony Blair. There's more information on the barons' petition to the Queen on the next page. The monarch is a job title. So in 2001, when the Barons Committee invoked Article 61, the Queen was constitutionally dethroned and fired from her job. All governments below her were dissolved, and Article 61 became the only law in effect throughout the entire Commonwealth realm. Article 61 helps protect the people from a treasonous regime. Article 61 is by royal command. It is commanded that we distress the crown and the illegal regime by seizing castles, lands, etc. We all have lawful excuse to do this and distress the regime in any way we see fit, peacefully though, whilst also enjoying the freedom that duress of circumstances provide us. Under duress, you can comply with the regime if you say you rely on a car for work or whatever. For example, do not deregister the car or tax on it. You are entitled to all your entitlements. It would be theft and coercion of aid and abet to treasonous regimes to deny you them. For us, to save the common law, it is entirely up to each of us to stand under it and its direction with a clear and peaceful strategy. Article 61 makes it a demand that the people stand under the most important tenet when it has been invoked, because that is the only remedy along with mass disobedience. There is no other way to defeat institutionalized treason. A peaceful, lawful rejection of the corrupt regime, plus the lobbying of the police to observe the evidential truth and to stand with the people, again, is the best way to end this treasonous effectively and peacefully. It can and must be done. Without sovereignty, there is only slavery. Once we have restored the system of justice we are supposed to be enjoying, we will have much fewer taxes to pay, proper justice in our courts. There should only be 4 laws to abide by and a lot more freedom. Truth will be heard on the mainstream media instead of nothing but lies. We will not be at war with other sovereign nations. No fracking, geoengineering, debt-based currency, no propaganda, no schools and no nanny state to tell you how to bring up your children. No propaganda in schools, and no nanny state to tell you how to bring up your children. Things can change very quickly. It just depends on whether you want it to change. We have no choice though. The alternative will be forced vaccinations, microchipping, more rules to strip us of our freedom, no private property, and no dissent against the corruption without punishment. No access to the countryside, Agenda 21, absolute corporate fascism, TTIP. So the choice is purely yours to make. Either defend the realm by using the Constitution to protect it and us, or accept the New World Order without complaint.